tanna vidussura suragana devaya tasmai namaha. Srimad Bhagavadgita Adhyaya 12 Shloka 2. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Maya mano ye mam Nityayukta upasate Shraddhaya parayopetaha Te me yukta tamamataha. Shraddhaya parayopetaste me yukta tamamataha. That is how you will find in the book. But if you split the sandhi, it will become Shraddhaya parayopetaha te me yuktatama mataha. That is why I read Shraddhaya parayopetaha te me yuktatama mataha. When we read in a particular way, some people may doubt that there is a mistake in the book because what is there in the book is different. It is not so. What is written in the book is correct because in a shloka between third and fourth quarter always there will be sandhi. The sandhi is not split and written. Similarly, between first and second also. Between first and second, the sandhi is not broken. Similarly, between third and fourth, sandhi is not broken. But between second and third, the sandhi is always broken, and there will be a full stop, one line. That is how a shloka is written. So let us come to the topic. Arjuna asked a question. Some people relate to the Nirguna Swarupa of the Paramatma, whereas some other people relate to the Saguna Rupa, the form with the attributes. Arjuna asked, among these two types of people, who is a greater yogi? Who is a greater mumukshu? Who is a greater sadhaka? This was Arjuna's question. Whether a Saguna Upasaka is greater or whether the one who relates to the Nirguna Swarupa is greater. This was Arjuna's question. Now, even though the question sounds simple, the answer is not that simple because there is something called Adhikari Bheda. Adhikari Bheda means difference in qualification. For example, some students are qualified to go to school, whereas some other students may be qualified to go to college, university. Now, if a student comes and asks me whether school is good or college is good, what should be our answer? We have to see who is asking the question. We have to see the qualification of the student, the eligibility of the student, and based on the eligibility of the student, we will be in a position to give the answer. If the student is young, he has not yet completed school, just joining the primary school, then you cannot tell him college is good because then he will say, I will not go to school. I want to go to college directly. In the same manner, there is adhikari bheda. Majority of the sadhakas, majority of the seekers are eligible for Saguna Brahma alone. If they choose Nirguna Brahma, they will have to face greater difficulty. Whereas a rare few mumukshus, a rare few sadhakas who have already attained Chitta Shuddhi, they are qualified for pursuing the Nirguna Brahma, understanding the Nirguna Swarupa of Paramatma. Now, while answering this question, Bhagavan has Arjuna in his mind. Arjuna is not ready for pursuing the Nirguna Brahma because he has not attained adequate Chitta Shuddhi. Likewise, majority of the mumukshus are also eligible for Saguna Brahma alone. They are adhikaris for Saguna Brahma alone. That is why, keeping in view majority of the seekers, Bhagavan says, the one who relates to Saguna Brahma is the greatest yogi. In this shloka, Bhagavan glorifies the Saguna Brahma Upasaka. Let us look into the shloka. Ye janah, there is ye in the first line. Ye janah, the seekers, the mumukshus, the bhaktas, mayi manaha aveshya, they fix their mind on me, mayi, in me. The commentators explain this as the Saguna Rupa. Though Krishna does not say explicitly here, we can understand that Krishna is intending Saguna Brahma. In me, who is Saguna, in any form, in the form of Rama or Krishna or even Devi or Shiva or Vishwarupa, in any form, Manaha Aveshya, they fix their mind on me. Regarding fixing the mind, Madhusudana Saraswati says, Ananya Sharanataya Niratishaya Priyataya cha. How to fix the mind on Paramatma. There are two sadhanas that requires to be cultivated in order to fix the mind on Paramatma. Number one, Ananya Sharanata, taking only Paramatma as the refuge, as the support. I depend on Ishvara alone. Ishvara alone is my emotional support. Having this attitude is Ananya Sharanata. And the second point, Niratishaya Priyataya, cultivating utmost love for Ishvara. Niratishaya Preeti, greatest love for Ishvara. When these 2 points are met, one can easily fix one's mind on Ishvara. Ishvara becomes the epicenter of the mind. The mind may wander here and there once in a while, but ultimately it will stay on the thought of Paramatma. Paramatma becomes the epicenter of the mind. All other thoughts are at the periphery, whereas Paramatma thoughts become the keynote of our mind. That is when one can say that the mind is fixed on Paramatma. This requires a sadhana. It is possible only through a prolonged practice of upasana, prolonged practice of karma yoga, as well as upasana. One should perform all one's karmas as an offering to Ishvara. And also, one should spend time meditating on the Ishvara. Then it is possible. That is what Krishna says. Mayi manaha aveshya, having fixed one's mind on me. Nityayuktaha, constantly focused, constantly committed, a constant commitment to Ishvara. Ishvara has to be the commitment of life. The life is meant for Ishvara. Ishvara is the priority of life. Such people are called Nityayuktaha. Paraya Shraddhaya Upetaha. And such Upasakas, they should have great Shraddha in the Ishvara as well as in the Guru who teaches the Ishvara, who initiates into the sadhana to attain the Ishvara. One should have great Shraddha in the Guru as well as in the Ishvara. It is not easy to get the great Shraddha. Shraddha is always shaky for many people. A few years back, I think 1 or 2 years back, not many years back, I visited a house as a guest. When I visited that house, I observed that in the shelf, in the bookshelf, there are many books related to Vedanta, like Mandukya Upanishad, Yoga Vasishtha. And in addition to that, there were books of Ramana Maharshi. I am that of Nisargadatta. All these books were kept. Then I understood that the gentleman is interested in something. He is a kind of a seeker. Then the gentleman started speaking to me. He said that he has been reading such books, the books regarding the inquiry into the truth. He was reading the books on his own and he tried to figure out the Brahman, the Atma, but still he is not able to relate to the Brahman. That was his problem. I am not able to relate to the Brahman. When I read, I understand it intellectually. Brahman is without form, and so on and so on. Brahman is without form. Brahman is infinite. Brahman is your own nature without attributes, pure consciousness. I am able to understand it intellectually, but I am not able to relate to it. That was his problem. And then I told him, you are not able to relate to it because you are not an adhikari for that. You have not prepared yourself for that. Sometimes the truth is not that pleasant, but still the truth is truth. Sometimes people don't like the people who speak the truth. They want to hear pleasant words. That is why somewhere it is told, Sulabhah Purusha Rajan Satatam Priyavadinah Apriyasya tu Pathyasya Vakta Shrota cha Durlabhaha. It is easy to find people who speak nice things, pleasant things, but a true well wisher is the one who may speak truth, and sometimes it is even unpleasant to hear, but it may be pathya, it may be good to the person who is listening, because such a truths alone can help us to correct ourselves. So I told him, you are not able to relate to the nirguna. That is why what is more appropriate to you is the Saguna Brahma Upasanam. If you do the Saguna Brahma Upasanam sincerely, in due course you will be ready to understand Vedanta. You will be easily able to assimilate the teaching of Vedanta, the Nirguna Swarupa. I told this to him. Then he said, but we don't have Shraddha. We don't have Shraddha in the Saguna Brahma, he told. Then I understood that it is very difficult to get Shraddha in the Saguna Brahma. Perhaps it is easier to get some Shraddha in the Nirguna Brahma. because it seems more logical. It is more logically explainable. Whereas the Saguna Rupa, it is difficult to get Shraddha. But with on the basis of the Shastra, as well as on the basis of the experience of many great Mahatmas, as well as on the basis of my own personal experience, I would say that the Saguna Brahma has a great importance in the spiritual pursuit. Therefore, if the Shraddha is lacking, one should try to cultivate Shraddha. If Shraddha is lacking, one should cultivate Shraddha. Let me explain this with an example. It happened a few years back, perhaps. There was a gentleman, an elderly, not very elderly, a middle aged gentleman, around 60 years old. This gentleman never took a flight. He had no experience of taking a flight. And whenever there was an occasion to travel, he would prefer other modes. Suppose he had to go to Delhi or Bombay, he would take a train instead of flight. When somebody asked him, "Why are you not traveling by flight?" Then he said, "I am afraid of traveling by flight because the flight just hangs in the air without any support. So I am afraid that it may fall down anytime." So he was afraid of traveling by flight. Then, at some occasion, he had to travel abroad. He had to travel to America. Then, what to do? He has no other way of traveling. Train is not available to go to America. He has to fly, but he is afraid of flying. He had a doubt, if I fly, the aeroplane will fall. Then his children found a way a way to remove his fear. They made him speak to other people who are frequent flyers, and they told him, see, we keep flying almost every week, nothing happens. When he heard those people, he got assured from other listening to other people who keep taking flights. He slowly got out of the fear because he started gaining confidence that the flight is a relatively safe mode of travel. He gained the confidence. And then at the end, when the time came, he was confident enough to sit in the flight and he traveled to America. So, what we have to understand from this story is that the association of the people who have already taken to a particular type of sadhana and they have succeeded in it, when we associate with such people, when we relate to such people, we gain confidence, we gain trust in a particular type of sadhana. Likewise, even in the case of Ishvara, if the Shraddha is lacking, how to get the Shraddha? The best way of getting Shraddha is Satsanga. Satsanga means the company of the Mahatmas who have devoted their lives for the sake of Ishvara. The ones who have dedicated their lives for the sake of Ishvara, such people, if we associate with such people, we gain Shraddha. That is why a mumukshu should seek the company of the sadhus, the satpurushas, who have dedicated their life to the pursuit of Paramatma. When we see their lives, when we hear their words, our Shraddha develops. That is how one can get the great Shraddha, Parashraddha, Shraddhaya Paraya Upeta. Krishna does not say just Shraddha. A little Shraddha is not enough. A shaky Shraddha is not enough. One should have great Shraddha. Great Shraddha means a Shraddha which cannot be shaken. Even if somebody says something else, our Shraddha should not be shaken. Most often, when we hear somebody else's words, or when we hear about some incident, our Shraddha gets shaken. Parashraddha means a Shraddha which never gets shaken. Paraya Shraddhaya upetaha. Endowed with the Parashraddha, endowed with the great Shraddha. Mam upasate, they worship me, they relate to me. Te yuktatamaha mataha. They are yuktatamaha. They are greatest yuktas, greatest yogis. Even compared to the people who try to relate to the Nirguna Swarupa. Me mataha. This is my vision. This is Bhagavan's vision. Shloka 3 and 4. They are interconnected. So we should study them together. Ye tvaksharamanirdeshyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyancha kutasthamachalam dhruvam. Sanniyamyendriyagramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhutahite rataha. In the previous verse, Bhagavan glorified the Saguna Brahma Upasaka. A Saguna Brahma Upasaka is greater than a Nirguna Brahma Upasaka. This is true with respect to a person who is not qualified, for relating to Nirguna Brahma. Now, in these two shlokas, Bhagavan also clarifies that the Nirguna Brahma Upasanam, not Nirguna Brahma Upasanam, I will not call it Upasanam, Nirguna Brahma Jnana, it is a Jnana, the knowledge of the Nirguna Brahma. Through Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Nirguna Brahma Jnana is the direct means for moksha. Saguna Brahma Upasana, even though it is the great sadhana, it is not a direct means for moksha. Then what is the direct means for moksha? It is the Nirguna Brahma Jnana. If Nirguna Brahma Jnana is the direct means for moksha, then what is the purpose served by Saguna Brahma Upasanam? Saguna Brahma Upasanam leads to moksha in two ways. There are two possibilities. Number one, through Saguna Brahma Upasana, one may get a lot of Chitta Shuddhi in this Janma itself, and then he is qualified for Nirguna Brahma Jnana. Then he will do Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana, and he may get Jnana in this life itself. That is how he may get moksha in this life. This is one possibility. Or another possibility is he may continue to do Saguna Brahma Upasanam all his life. All his life he is dedicated to Saguna Brahma Upasanam. At the end of his life, he may die meditating on the Saguna Brahma, thinking of Bhagavan. He may leave the body. And that will lead him to the Shuklagati, as we have described in Adhyaya 8, Agnirjyotiraha Shuklaha Ityadi. Through Shuklagati, He may go to Brahmaloka, and in Brahmaloka, he will get the jnana of Nirguna Brahma, and then he will get moksha. That is another possibility. In both the ways, Saguna Brahma Upasanam serves the purpose of moksha indirectly. Whereas a Nirguna Brahmajnani, one who has attained the knowledge of Nirguna Brahma through Shavana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. Again, I would like to emphasize Nirguna Brahma can be understood only through proper Upadesha, Vedanta Upadesha from a Guru. That is through Shavana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Those who attain the jnana of Nirguna Brahman, they attain moksha directly without any gap. And that is pointed out in these two shlokas. Ye tu, there is a tu. Tu indicates the Vailakshanya. Unlike the Saguna Brahma Upasakas, the Saguna Brahma Upasakas do not attain moksha directly. Unlike them, the Nirguna Brahmajnanis, they get moksha directly. Ye, ye refers to the Jnanis. The Jnanis are described Indriyagramam Sanniyamya. A Jnani should have Sanyama, Indriya Sanyama, restraint over his Indriyas, restraint over his senses. If somebody says, I will allow my senses to do what they want, he cannot dream of becoming a jnani. He will only become a bhogi. Therefore, in fact, Krishna emphasizes this point again and again. Right from Adhyaya 2, Yada samharate chayam kurmonganiva sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhyastasya prajna pratisthita. A jnani should have, he should cultivate restraint over his senses. He should discipline his senses. Only then he can become a jnani. Indriya Sanyama is an indispensable aspect of the pursuit of moksha. Sarvatra samabuddhayaha. Jnanis are sarvatra samabuddhayaha. Sarvatra samabuddhayaha can be understood in two ways. Number one, being aware that the same Brahman is present in everything. Sarvam khalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Being aware of this fact is sarvatra samabuddhaya. It can be understood in another way also, which is told in another shloka of Bhagavadgita itself. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. He sees everyone as his own self. Therefore, anybody's pleasure is looked upon as his own pleasure. Anybody's pain is looked upon as his own pain. That is another nature of a jnani, which implies empathy. A jnani is an individual with great empathy. He feels the pleasure and pain of other people as his own pleasure and pain. This is another interpretation of sarvatra samabuddhaya. And such jnanis, they are aware of the nirguna swarupa of the Brahman, and Krishna describes that nirguna swarupa with a few words. Anirdeshyam, the nirguna swarupa is anirdeshya. Anirdeshya means it does not become the direct meaning of any words. This requires some explanation. I think the time is over. We will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.